Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a book that's taken the self-help world by storm. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FCK * by Mark Manson. This isn't your average self-help book. It's raw, it's honest, and it's packed with powerful lessons on how to stop caring about things that don't matter. We're going to break it down chapter by chapter, so grab a seat and let's get into it. So, Chapter 1 is called Don't Try. Right off the bat, Manson turns traditional self-help advice upside down. Instead of pushing us to chase positivity all the time, he tells us that life is full of struggles and not everything is worth caring about. Manson wants us to understand that constantly trying to be happy or successful can actually backfire. Instead, he says we should embrace life struggles and only care about the things that really align with our values. This sets the tone for the entire book. Chapter 2, Happiness is a Problem, gets real about the nature of happiness. Manson argues that pain and suffering are unavoidable parts of life. Chasing happiness is like chasing a mirage. It's temporary and conditional. Manson's message here is that the pursuit of happiness often creates more frustration because we think we're entitled to it. Instead, he suggests we focus on solving meaningful problems, because true happiness comes from solving the right problems, not avoiding them. Chapter 3, You Are Not Special. Chapter 3 might sting a little. It's called, You Are Not Special. In a world where everyone is told they're extraordinary, Manson argues that this mentality is actually harmful. Believing you're special sets you up for entitlement and disappointment. Manson explains that when we stop expecting to be special, we become more grounded. Life becomes more about accepting reality and less about expecting things to always work out perfectly just because we think we deserve it. The real power lies in accepting our limitations. In Chapter 4, The Value of Suffering, Manson takes a deep dive into how we interpret suffering. He argues that the real question isn't how to avoid suffering, but what are we willing to suffer for? What are the things worth fighting through discomfort for? Screen shows a person choosing between two paths, one comfortable, one difficult but meaningful. Manson emphasizes that everyone has struggles, but the key to a fulfilling life is choosing struggles that align with your values. If you're suffering for the right things, like passion, growth, or love, then that suffering becomes valuable. Chapter 5 is called, You Are Always Choosing, and it's all about responsibility. Manson says that we can't always control what happens to us, but we're always responsible for how we react. This is a powerful shift in mindset. By accepting responsibility for our choices, we stop playing the victim. Even if something isn't our fault, it's still our responsibility to deal with it. Manson wants us to own our choices because that's where our true power lies. Next up, Chapter 6. You're wrong about everything, but so am I. This chapter tackles the idea that we're constantly growing. And with that growth comes the realization that a lot of our beliefs and assumptions are often wrong. Manson stresses the importance of humility here. We need to accept that we don't know everything, and that's okay. It's through being open to new experiences and changing our perspectives that we truly grow. This chapter is all about embracing uncertainty. Chapter 7, Failure is the Way Forward, is one of my favorite chapters because it flips the script on how we see failure. Manson says that failure is actually necessary for growth and success. Avoiding failure means avoiding growth. If you're afraid of failing, you'll never get anywhere. Manson reminds us that we should expect failure and learn from it. It's through failing, reflecting, and improving that we make real progress. In Chapter 8, The Importance of Saying No, Manson dives into boundaries and the power of saying no. He argues that in order to care about the right things, we have to be comfortable saying no to the wrong ones. This chapter is a game changer when it comes to setting boundaries. By saying no, we protect our time, energy, and focus. It allows us to prioritize what truly matters and not spread ourselves too thin. Finally, we get to the last chapter, and then you die. Sounds morbid, but Manson uses this idea to remind us of the ultimate truth. We're all going to die. Instead of being scared of this, Manson wants us to use it as motivation. Knowing that our time is limited helps us focus on what's truly important. It strips away all the superficial concerns and leaves us with the question, what do we want our lives to stand for? This chapter is all about accepting mortality and living more meaningfully. So, there you have it, a chapter-by-chapter breakdown of Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving FCK. Asterisk, it's an unapologetically honest book that forces us to rethink how we spend our time and energy. If you found this summary helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Let me know in the comments, what's one thing you've decided to stop giving AF***CK about today? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.